There's nothing we engineers enjoy more than getting out the leady components and building up a prototype on a breadboard. But it's not the 1990s anymore, is it? Luckily, Tommy from Microaware has come up with a solution with an intelligent breadboard called Sandwizz. Hi Tommy, it's great to have you here at the Elektor stand to tell us a little bit more about your new product. Now, we've had a couple of conversations in the last few weeks and I'm absolutely intrigued to find out more because what you were telling me is basically the breadboard as we know it is really old-fashioned, and you've come up with a new way of making a more intelligent breadboard which you've called Sandwizz. Tell me a little bit more about how you got to Sandwizz.
Yeah, I'm pleased to be here and thank you for having this interview here. Well, instead of telling in the beginning how and what we did, I would ask why change the breadboard. And we looked at fast prototyping in electronics and how that is done today, how fast the iterations are. And of course, many of us, when we started out electronics, we started with the breadboard, and still professional we do. But we are often stuck there again, and I ask colleagues about that, why is it? And the problem is that you have to take a modern schematic, you draw in an ECAD, and in a manual mental way you have to transfer this into the breadboard, doing the routing of the jumpers yourself, where to place the components. And if you have that done right, then you start to measure on it, and then the probes will take out the components, and well,
a wire falls out.
Yeah, exactly. And you're really stuck, and it's so hard to do iteration on that. So we looked at what's good. That's the breadboard itself. It's very easy to put in leaded component, or it could be SMD components in a board where you have leads that plug in. That's very good. It's very, both for people making firmware can do that, but also people making hardware, they start there. So the next step we said, well, we should make this intelligent. So we took a breadboard and underneath we put in the intelligence. So we do a schematic, the ECAD. In our case, for now, it will be KiCad. It's free and open. And there we can export a netlist in Spice. This we can transfer from a USB, from the PC, Mac, or Linux, because the KiCad is for all those tools. All those, yes. And then we can transfer the netlist into this breadboard. And actually the breadboard, I have it here actually. It's not bigger than this, and there you have the USB going in here. And that way you have a terminal program. In our case we are again using a terminal program, but it could be any program, but this it's called CoolTerm, and it's for all three platforms as well. And there you will get information out, and you will get the netlist out.
Yeah.
First, you can get a list of the raw piece by net list with the net labels. Of course, that's a bit confusing, but then we have an algorithm that takes this net list and make an optimal configuration and also put in the pin numbers of the breadboard. So you will get this translated into a new net list that is compatible with the breadboard.
Yeah.
Meaning that we will have a wizard afterwards telling you, now you take this component, a diode, you put it in pin number 1 and 2. You put it in, you press enter, and the breadboard will of course measure if this is done the right way, if it's like shifted a bit, or it could be polarized the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you will get a feedback on that immediately, and you can correct it right away.
Yeah.
So that's really a big help when you're doing the construction. Some components you have to put in, others we will have either direct components in the breadboard or components that we will synthesize from analog and digital components inside the breadboard, and they will have a digital twin in the KiCad system as a component, and of course embedded in the breadboard itself.
Yeah.
So that way it comes in, and finally we have like silicon jumpers inside. So those connection, those nodes that is not like natural nodes in the rows, we just make these silicon wires inside.
Yeah.
So a lot of construction in here will actually be jumperless.
Yeah.
So
basically then what I've got is a breadboard more or less as I know it, but underneath there's like a layer of analog digital intelligence which I can configure to sort of complement the circuit I'm trying to build.
Exactly. And we have some base components, and then we also, at our company, building like synthesized components. For instance, we will, synthesize the old timer 555. That is easily done in this one, but also much more complex project or components. We can synthesize that.
So what's the sort of level of complexity that you can implement in the intelligent part of the circuit? And is it solely aimed at analog electronics?
Nope. It's both digital, analog, and also hybrid between those two. We could do quite with the hardware as it is today. You could actually go in with some VHDL and do that, but we will not provide that because we do not have the tools for that yet. What we will do is provide a library that is compatible with the old TTL or 4000 series of logic.
Yeah.
So you can choose an analog component, some digital gate components, yes.
Yeah.
And you can choose that and then use it in the breadboard. Later on, of course, we want to expand that so you will have more freedom, flexibility, but we have to start at a place, and this is, I think, a good place still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I think embedded developers have really benefited from the open source community. We've got boards like Arduino and Raspberry Pi and BeagleBone. They've really allowed us to develop quickly and program systems. Do you see Sandwizz boards being able to integrate with those devices as well?
Yeah, we are the integrator board. and we see a lot of exciting things going on with AI and all kind of small, but there's a lot of components out there, but we still need a good integration between that. And we also, the sandwich is a sandwich construction. It comes in layers. It has the leader layer where you put in the leader components, then you have the hidden library of components, and then underneath you can put in different boards, either some we make or the maker themselves make that will fit in here. And what we have done as a first library board is actually Arduino Nano library board, where you can then take different nano boards as long as they can run on 5 volts. And that way you can integrate that either directly with the pin IOs from the Arduino up to the breadboard, or we can go through API where we can write to whatever register in our Sandwizz board. For instance, it could be the function generator in there making a sine wave. You do that in the KeyCAD with a static frequency, but there afterwards from the Arduino you just program, now I would like to shift the frequency to another thing, and it does that. It could be any I/O on the board where you can actually go in and have a more flexible, agile way of doing I/O part here. Look at it as a big I/O expander where you really can do a lot of stuff with the Sandwich breadboard.
Now the board you showed us earlier, that's a functional prototype, isn't it, of Sandwizz? What's the next step for you, because you're a startup business? What's the next step to getting it out to market so as people can then sort of experience it for themselves?
Actually, what you see there, it's a functional prototype. It's also a release candidate. So right now it's undergoing all the testing needed. Also me carrying it in a pocket here to ensure that it will be functional. So that thing, the hardware is there now, and we're also getting quotation from production at the moment. The firmware will still have a way to go. And the way we want to go to market with this is actually a big Kickstarter campaign. And we will, in the end of April, this month here, we'll make the pre-launch at Kickstarter page. And then after a month, the 4th of June, we'll have the final Kickstarter campaign. And hopefully we'll raise the backers there so that we can still grow this project here. After that, they'll go around 3 months, then we will have a delivery of the hardware and a minimum firmware setup that will come with it. And of course a bootloader so you can upgrade it on the fly. And then successive month after month we will provide new firmware upgrade, and the end of 2024 they will have the full package of firmware that will be able to do what I promised here about the schematic transfer into a functional breadboard. But every month we will also have like a package where we, for makers, come with an application. And if they buy one of the packages within the Kickstarter, there will be some leaded component as well in there, or they have the component themselves. And with these components, we promise to make 2 new applications every month.
Super.
Yeah.
Now, when we look at boards like Arduino and Raspberry Pi, a lot of their success is based upon the community, about support, good online tutorials. How are you going to be addressing that, and what do you expect people will find when they're trying to get started?
Well, first of all, I think we need to help them get started. So every time we synthesize a new component inside here, we will make some kind of application note to inspire those guys how to do this. But afterwards, I really hope that the community, there'll be a community, and we'll make a page for that, where you can go in as a creator, maker, come with your application, share either the schematic or the netlist, how much you want to share, and then people can just take that and build this application themselves. So we hope that this will be a place where we can share stuff. We do not have that page yet, but it's in our program that it will come for sure.
Yeah, super. Yeah. Now, if someone's watching and has been intrigued by Sandwizz, what's the best way to find out more information and stay up to date as the progress develops?
Yeah. Of course, we have a website. It's microaware.com, and there you can sign up. There's a big sign me up button there, and then you send us an email, and we'll ensure that you'll be put in to our mailing list. And as soon as we have the pre-launch at Kickstarter, it will be there. But also, if you're a Kickstarter, download the app and keep an eye on that. We will come up with a coming soon, and then the 4th of June, we will be there with the final Kickstarter. Also, if you Google Microaware or just Google Sandwich Breadboard, and it with double Z or double C, I think some.
That was it. Yeah.
Then you will find first YouTube. I think will come first, and then LinkedIn as well. So we also are present there, and we will have a Facebook landing page as well, and we'll look at the different social platforms where we should be present.
Yeah.
Right now it's YouTube, it's LinkedIn, and then the web page where we are present. Yeah.
Fantastic. I think it's a really exciting application. It's really I'm excited to see how it develops and progresses, and I really appreciate Tommy taking the time to come along and talk to us about it.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me here.